The voice of sharing. Durian ASEAN.
Hi, this is Arlene and you are listening to Durian ASEAN. Today we have 4 guests from Empower and also from other organisation and also a state assemblyman or assemblywoman here. So first off, let me introduce the guests here. The first one is Ati or Normawati Ghazali. You are from Subang.
Yeah.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
And Wong Fai, he's from Empower. He's the program officer from the Women's Political Participation Program. Hi.
Hi, Arlene.
And also we have one state assemblywoman for Teratai. She's from DAP. Her name is Tiew Keng.
Hi.
And also, of course, Janarthani from Empower. Oh, sorry.
Hi, Arlene.
How to pronounce your name, by the way?
It's Jana, Arlene.
Okay, I'll call you as Jana. Okay. Anyway, today we are going to talk about women's political participation, and this is actually related to the International Women's Day, which will be organized by Empower. The event itself which is the International Women's Day. It will be organized by Empower and Dun Teratai with the support of the Subang Parliamentarian Office. It is a celebration of women grassroots leaders and their achievement. It is also organized to commemorate an important event worldwide for women's empowerment. Actually, the International Women's Day was quite a few weeks ago, isn't it?
Yeah.
What is the actual date?
It's usually celebrated on the 8th of March. However, due to some scheduling issues, we decided to do it in April.
Mm-hmm.
And we wanted enough time for the preparation, and we wanted to give it our full attention. Yeah. So internationally, it's celebrated on the 8th of March to commemorate women's issues, and it started in England. Actually, it started when a group of women died in a fire in the US, and they decided to agitate for their rights as women and also as workers. So International Women's Day got picked up and became a very important issue from that time onwards, and it's been celebrated everywhere.
Mm-hmm. And for this particular event, it will be celebrated on the 26th of April on Saturday at Auditorium MPAJ, Ampang Jaya, between 2 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. It will include sharing by women leaders, short film presentations, and exhibition. It's very hard to pronounce that. So, share with us more. Who are the women leaders that will be present there, and what kind of short films and exhibition?
Arlene, on the 26th, the IW event that Empower and also Teratai is organizing, we have speakers from community leaders. Of course, we have YB Keng to share with us as the organizer. And then we have Ati here, who is going to share her experience and the challenges she faced in the community in Subang. We also have Kak Tija Yok Chopil from the Orang Asli community. Mm-hmm. She is also going to deliver a speech on the strength of women leadership and also the challenges that they face. Who else do we have? Selvi. Mm-hmm. Selvi is also a community leader from Kuala Selangor, which is also under Empower's program, WPP, Women's Political Participation. She is also going to deliver a speech on that particular day. It's a very casual setting, a sharing session, in conjunction with the spirit of women leaders from grassroots. And the performances are all by community grassroots performers. We have line dancing from Teratai. We have
line dancing.
We have a casual sketch from Subang, and also a poetry done
recitation.
Yes, that's right. We have a
film
video
called Tanpa Wajah,
Yeah.
which I think is the very first documentation of women leaders in Malaysia. So we have one grassroots leader. She was actually a woman who ran for a chairperson position in the National Union of Plantation Workers. We have someone from Mama Bersih. We also have someone from the Gerakan Mansukan ISA. So we have interesting women who've gone through amazing challenges to do the work that we do. So we're going to share this film for the first time with our grassroots women.
Wow, that is a cool event. I think I'll be there. But what about the exhibition? What kind of exhibition you will be having?
The exhibition are basically display of community activities from Subang, Kuala Selangor, and also Empower and Teratai. So these are pictures and text from past activities, women empowerment program, grassroots programs, and all that. So participants will be able to see what each community has done, and there will be also comments from community leaders from particular community that what they learn from Empower, and what they can share to empower more grassroots communities. So it's like a display of what the community has done from grassroots up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, Empower, why do you believe that, women's political participation is still not on par to, international standard, if I would say?
Well, Arlene, first and foremost, I think the numbers in Parliament speak for themselves. First and foremost, we have 10.4% of women parliamentarians and that's a very dismal number because we don't even reach the minimum 30%, and we're one of the lowest in the region. That's very sad, because we've gone through a lot of progress, but where it really matters, we don't have the representation. People think, women have jobs, women have great opportunities, so if there are few MPs, what's the big deal? It is a very, very big deal because we really want to see how women come to the table and how women are able to push for policies which are important. We also want to see how, they can represent all of us. And we don't see enough of that. And I think that's a very important aspect of reaching a country, becoming a country that is diverse, equal, and inclusive.
And Wei Keng, being a woman state assembly person for Teratai, how is it like seeing, the politics in Malaysia being dominated by male, most of the time, and why women are not there yet when it comes to standing up for their own political rights?
We can see that in Malaysia, generally women are more on the supporting group. Maybe because of the culture that planted into them or the community. What happens is that in Malaysia, for women, they think that politics is something that is complicated. So they are more willing to play a supporting role instead of standing and speaking up for women. One typical example happened to YB Teo Nei Ching, the MP for Kulai. She's fighting for child care for the member of parliaments and the staff in Dewan. But however, what she pledged was being criticized by the male parliamentarians, saying that if you cannot take care of your family, so you can't be the parliamentarian, which is very bad because in the typical male-dominant politics, they feel that women you better take care of your family instead of coming up and speak for the people. So the what do you call this ill concept or the belief or the value that planted into the mind of the some of the male parliamentarian, which is happening in our country.
Also, I'd like to pick up on what YB Wei King said. we've also had this horrible situation where we had parliamentarians talking about women's menstrual cycles, you know. And
Yeah,
it
I
was
still
very-
remember that.
Yes, and that's atrocious, you know. Nobody talks like that any part of the world except, you know, in Malaysia.
Malaysia.
And it's been highlighted over and over, and there's not really been a change in their attitudes, you know. So there needs to be more gender sensitization programs, even for parliamentarians, you know.
And Kawe, you want to add something?
Yeah, if I may add,
A cafe, sorry.
cafe, yeah. Picking up from what YBY King has mentioned earlier about Teo Ni Ching, if I may add, the brochures, pamphlets were distributed during the campaign period for general election, to wide audience with pictures and like cartoon, you see. It says that this YB has to go home and breastfeed the baby, and because of this, you know, the demands and requests of the people are neglected and ignored, you know, and question on whether she can balance both her work and family life, which is really unfair. But this is the state of the Malaysian male politicians, and sadly, the ruling government, the women political candidates in the ruling government did not stand up and say that this is wrong. It is accepted across board because it's like a party strategy, it's like a party plan. So whatever the male says, the women will support behind it. Like nobody comes to defend Teo Ni Ching from a BN, you see.
Not even the male? I mean,
No, I don't think so. We published that in our report, in the Pemantau report. And on parliamentary questions and issues raised in parliament, sexist remarks, the standing order has been amended, I think 2 years back or something, to refer whoever who has made the sexist remark to the disciplinary committee, if I'm not mistaken. But there is no mechanism to reprimand them, you see. So we don't know what are the processes in that committee where they question, you know, they actually question the statements made, the sexist remarks made. No reprimanding mechanism, if you understand.
so this member of parliaments, they can still say whatever they want without being, caught or being
There's no,
to be reprimanded.
there's no punishment.
Yeah.
Like recently, Teresa Kwok was being
Just the skirt.
because of her skirt was being I don't know. It's just ridiculous that women member of parliament are subjected to such racist remark. And Ati, you work with YB Sivarasa. You are what is your role under YB Sivarasa?
I'm admin officer for Member of Parliament office. Then in our office, we go to a grassroots and take their problem, then bring to the parliament. Then we also have educated women to help them to go further, go to the public and bring the problem to public for our pemimpin. You call
Your leaders.
for our leaders to listen us, to listen what we want.
So you work mainly with women from the grassroots.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Directly from them.
Mm-hmm.
Every day you will see any kind of problem, vandalism, so many things about women. But
their voices are not being addressed,
Yeah,
even
yeah.
though you already bring the message forward to the leaders.
yeah.
Who are the leaders that usually you bring forth the issues?
For my place, we just go to Member of Parliament lah, YB Sivarasa, and then we take an advice from Empower, from Sister in Islam, to help us lah.
What kind of issues that women from the grassroots usually would face?
Violence. More
Domestic violence, is it?
domestic violence. Rumah tangga.
Yeah.
House violence. Then
Domestic violence.
yeah.
Divorce,
Too many cases of divorce. Single mothers.
So they don't receive a fair and equal treatment when it
Yeah.
comes to marriage and also divorce cases. Is that
Then
the case?
also they have discriminate from government agency, from Mahkamah Syariah, magistrate, and they are totally not fair to the woman.
So what have you done in terms of pushing forward, not just to push forward their message, but to empower them to take their own stand, not just to...
Right now, we have a training. We cooperate, we empower, bring women to our place, then give them training, how to present their issue to more people to learn about that issue lah.
I think the political empowerment and the political awareness among Malaysians, not just women, but Malaysians from the grassroots, is still not up to the level where we can really voice out and without being, fear and without having the fear and scared. And you, Kafe, you work on the Women's Political Participation Program. I'm sure you have a lot to share on this.
I think the fear has to be addressed in a very professional manner. We empower them to learn how to document issues that they face, right? And also from others that they heard in the community. Document them and also how to spread the issues, so to speak, to build a rights awareness and all that. And also the skills for advocacy. That is what our plan for the Orang Asli communities and also those in the rural areas where internet is the main problem for their awareness campaign and work and documentation, monitoring and all that. But from the communities that we have worked on before this, how do we address the issue of fear of reprehension after you raise your issues? And I think probably Jana can share past communities that she has trained.
One of the main issues that we address in our trainings from the beginning is really to bring about a human rights and a women's rights perspective based on feminist principles. What we really want to tell women is, first and foremost, their predicament, the situation that they're currently in, is actually something that has been programmed into them, through the way they've been socialized as young girls, as young women, and how that socialization process actually limits their role in society. So they're not able to see beyond the roles that have been prescribed to them. And that is also the source of their oppression. For instance, if you're a woman who wants to participate in public life, you have to negotiate your childcare. Your husband is not going to assist you in childcare because he's been conditioned to think that women must take care of children and that's their primary role. Now, how would a woman negotiate that? How would she be able to discuss this with her husband, which will enable her to go for a meeting, a Chabang meeting, for example? So these kind of things are addressed in our trainings. We also empower women to be able to analyze issues at their community level. We really believe that a lot of this leadership is developed even within the home, even within the home. Women are always trying to exert leadership roles within the home. But the thing is, when it comes to a larger perspective, it's harder to do because the kind of prejudice you face is higher. I'm sure, like for example, Ati herself has faced a lot of issues when she goes out to the community and starts working with the larger community. Maybe Ati can share.
About my okay, negotiation with families, with especially nego with husband, parents, kids, because when you participate in politics, your time too limited. So you must negotiation with your husband, with your kid and family, then make us adjustment time to, for me or for our woman to participate in politics. Then for me, I'm lucky because my family, my kid and my husband allow me. Then he's helped me a lot. Support me, give me a strong support to participate in politics. As I'm from a family who didn't know about politics. Okay, my parent buta huruf, you see. Oh, they
illiterate.
Yeah, then but they support me. They support me in politics. They support me in whatever I want to. I want to be
To pursue lah.
Yeah. Then I'm very grateful about that.
So, but not every families are like that, you know.
Yeah. Or
So
some other family. Then for this I have a long time lah. Not persefahaman ni bukan cepat sangat kita dapat. Okay, it takes time. Then you must be patient. So many things come lah. Then but you must strong lah. Strong. Think positive. Then what I get now lah.
So I'm just wondering, like, I mean, we can change within ourselves as individuals and maybe the community within ourselves. But when it comes to the political level, I think there should be some sort of political and economic reform or even structural reform that is needed in order for women to be able to participate in politics and also in economy without feeling that they need to sacrifice, some part of their personal lives and also, have to reduce themselves to being a certain type of woman rather than embrace, their own femininity. So, YB Wei Keng, what kind of reform do you think Malaysia MP should focus on in order for women to fully participate in politics and also to some extent in economy as well?
First of all, the government need to empower the women and trust them they can handle the works well. What happens nowadays that we can see that the empowerment to the women is not. I don't think the empowerment is really. To the woman is really completely done. A lot of things that the male dominant political party, they still put hold on it. Yeah, for example, that we can see that even from Ati, we can see when she want to involve in politics, she need to get the blessing from the family. But how many male they will talk about this? They will say, "Oh, I need to get my wife consent, my kids support." For me to get involved in politics,
you just go on. I'm
right.
joining.
That's right. So we can see that the whole culture that we need to do some change, so that to let the women be brave and to make their decision. For Pakatan Rakyat, we have launched the Agenda Wanita Malaysia years ago. So one of the agenda, we empower the women in the we call economic. In Selangor, we have allowed the women to take care of the children in a house. We call it as a childcare. This is in Malay we call as taska rumah. This is another way to create a job opportunity for women. Other than that, we also encourage the women that because now the culture in Malaysia that still not allowing women really come out. You see, they still need to take care of their children in the house. So how to make sure that they can have the economic independence? So we need to create job for them. So other than to have the taska rumah, we also encourage the women to have the nurse to make the we call it as the products in the house. So the government we will assist them to help them to find the proper company or how to sell their products. This is a series of education program that the state governments we are doing on that. So other than that, we also encourage that the women that to get involved in politics. Then we also ask, we have give the micro credit, some loan without interest to give to the women, especially the young women that who would like to be the entrepreneur. We also encourage the husband to get involved to understand the women. For example, is under one of our agenda Wanita Malaysia, Kesejahteraan Sosial. So we want the husband to understand the women and to let the women to participate in politics or in the community. So under the agenda Wanita Malaysia, there are few agenda we need to pursue, and now Pakatan Rakyat we are in the progress of trying to comply all the agenda that we have pledged. So other than economic, social, we also talk about the law. We even pledged that we should have the institute for the women leadership. We also need to amend certain law, especially for the Sexual Harassment Act, and we are on domestic violence. We can see all this. We need to do something on this part, which is always the women we've been discriminated because of some law. Mm-hmm. We can see, for example, for there's no punishment for marital rape. You see, it is. Without this, it's okay. It's okay for a husband to have to force the wife to have this we call it sex relationship. You see, all this it is something that is not right, and in a sense of it is discriminating the wife.
Mm-hmm. So let's put a focus on the International Women's Day, which I have earlier spoke about it. Why do you think young women, young men, people from Selangor, Malaysians need to go there? Why do you think this is something important for them?
First and foremost, I think the usual International Women's Day events is usually, women dressed in a certain color, doing things that reinforce their gender roles. They're having a cooking competition, or they're having a fashion show competition, which does not make sense to me. What we've been doing in Empower is we've been having, we usually have walks. In 2010 we had Rock and Walk, where 300 women walked, and then we had some demands that we put out. In 2012 we had Wanita Suara Perubahan, where we demanded that we wanted governance issues to be addressed by by people who the powers that be. So I think we have been consistently trying to push across the message that we want, women to be equal partners in building this nation. And this is why I think a lot of people need to come and attend and actually understand what the issues are, because these are things that you don't get over the the mainstream media. You don't get to see the faces of women who actually do the work that enables political parties to gain the benefits that they do. I'm talking about both sides. So I think Malaysians overall, they don't see these kind of issues as really pertinent to them, but it is. For instance, if you're someone who lives in an area where it's not well lit, it's an issue that affects women. It is an issue that affects young people. You don't have enough space for sports.
Yeah.
A reading room, for example. So all of this has a lot to do with the way we look at governance itself.
That's true. Any last message from Ati and also Kafe before we wrap up?
Okay. I hope more women and young women especially can participate in politics without ketakutan.
Without fear.
Without fear. And then in IWD in 26 April, Parliament Subang have a poem, special poem to all of women called Sri Kandi.
Sri Kandi.
Yeah, good poem from my friends, young guy Aslam Yusuf.
I see. And you, Kafe?
The International Women's Day doesn't only come once a year. We should treat that as an everyday event. Every day we respect women, we recognize their work and we empower them together with the community. So, but this IWD, I hope that listeners and your friends will come to the event to see the other side of the celebration for International Women's Day, as Jana has mentioned just now. And this is purely voices from the grassroots and the leaders and the experience on how they get to where they are today to train the younger ones. Men, please, you're encouraged to come. Open up your eyes and see for yourself and participate and support women empowerment programs.
We need more men
together.
like Kafe here. So please come to the International Women's Day organized by Empower and Dun Teratai on 26th of April, Saturday at Auditorium MPAJ Ampang Jaya between 2 to 6:30 p.m. So thank you everyone. Thank you for coming to Durian ASEAN.
Thank you, Arlene.
Thank you, Arlene.